This is your guide to the Yordle build in set 6 of Teamfight Tactics. Let's jump right into it. The Yordle build is one of those turn your brain off builds, but that's not to say it's boring. Just like the Draconic build of Season 5, there is something really enjoyable about getting a unit for free each round. Not to mention that you are building toward the end goal of a very strong Vigar after getting all your Yordles up to 3 stars. In this build, other than the Yordles, Janna is a key unit as it contributes to the 2 Enchanter and 2 Scholar trait. Scholar bonus, with the additional 5 mana every 2 seconds, really helps Heimerdinger get more ults off, which means more damage. Now this may be a little controversial, but I think the real carry of this build is Heimerdinger, not Tristana, and is what makes this build a lot stronger than people think. This isn't to say that you should ignore Tristana, quite the opposite. I think itemizing Tristana is often very important, especially with the current meta shifting toward tanks and Dragon's Claw. What I'm trying to say here is that Heimerdinger is the most bang for your bucks unit in this build until you get to Veigar. The playstyle for this build revolves around Heimerdinger, and itemizing him properly. But before talking about itemization, first we need to talk a bit about the overall playstyle of this build. The whole playstyle of this build revolves around surviving long enough to get Veigar in the game. Once you have the full build, it is essentially an automatic win, but you have to get there first. To do this, you need to get Yordle bonus up as soon as possible to start getting free Yordles and begin working toward all Yordles at 3 stars. Which Yordles you use for this, it doesn't matter, but if you can, Vex and Heimerdinger early are exceptionally strong. Expect to lose most of the early game rounds here as well. It's kind of counterintuitive, but it serves 2 benefits. The first being that you are lower health than the rest of the players, which will almost guarantee you first pick of items you need on the carousel. The second is you will start to build up a consistent loss rate, which will help you get to 50 gold sooner. Getting to 50 gold as fast as possible is another crucial part of this build. This is a slow roll build, meaning instead of using excess gold over 50 to level, you instead re-roll looking for the Yordles you need. The lower your level, the higher chance you have of getting 1, 2, and 3 star units, which all Yordles that you can buy are. Once you are comfortable with the number of 3 star units you have, you can start using some of this excess gold to level. And in this build, you only need to get to level 8, and you can time this for when you get your first Yordle. Next, let's talk about items. Like any build, having the right items are important, but it is even more crucial with this build. Heimerdinger items are your priority here, followed by Vex and Tristana. Any priority for these last 2 are situational. Ideally, you'll want to prioritize Vex secondary, unless your opponents are stacking magic resist items like Dragonclaw or Gargoyle Stone. In this case, you'll want to start putting some items on Tristana so she can kill these tanky frontline units. With all this being said, it is almost a must to put a Dragon's Claw on Vex though. On Heim, you'll need a blue buff and jewel gauntlet as his first 2 items, and you should prioritize these components on the carousels. The third item is situational here. If you are finding that Heim's survivability is strong against your opponents or have augments that grant healing, put an Infinity Edge on him. This will maximize damage but reduce survivability. However, in most situations I am going with the Hextech Gunblade to make sure Heim stays alive. For Vex, the 3 main items you want are the Dragon's Claw, Warmogs, and Bramble's Life. Other tank items like Sunfire, Cape, and Gargoyle Stoneplate can be okay alternatives, but the Dragon's Claw is a must. As a secondary carry to this build, Tristana's items are less important, but if you end up getting some of these items or have completed Heim's items already, it will definitely help. Rageblade and Infinity Edge are 2 main items, with Last Whisper or Giant's Belt being situational. If you find yourself against very tanky units like Cho'Gath or Mundo, an argument can be made for Giant Slayer. Any AP items you come across after you have full items on Heimerdinger can be reserved for your Vigar when you put them in. Specifically, Jewel Gauntlet, Blue Buff, and Infinity Edge, so the same items as on Heimerdinger. It's unlikely you will be able to get all of these items though this late in the game, so any AP items here will do. For positioning, Poppy and Vex are the front line. Spread out slightly to avoid AoE damage. And you're going to want to corner your carries Heimerdinger in one, Tristana in other. Whichever one you are using as a carry, place Lulu in front of them, and Ziggs next to them. You may need to move units around slightly if your opponents have a Blitzcrank or a Zephyr, so keep that in mind. Yana goes right in the middle of everyone, so they can all get healing from her ult. When you get Veigar in place, put him next to your secondary carry in the back. You can also shift around Ziggs and Lulu if needed to protect the Veigar. If you happen to get level 9, additional units such as Yuumi, Taric, or Seraphine will go on the backline to protect the carries as well. Then units like Jace or Tahm Kench will be in the front line. In my experience, just 8 units alone, Yordles plus Janna, are more than enough to win, so any extra units are just bonus here. Finally, let's talk Augments. Now this is completely luck based, so the chances of you getting all the augments you want are very low. Basically do your best when selecting alternatives, and you can absolutely still win if you get none of these. The best augment for this build though is the golden ticket augment, since it gives you a 40% chance to gain a free reroll after every reroll. If this is presented to you early on within the first 2 augment selections, definitely take it. The less favorable version of this is Trade Sector, which only provides 1 free roll per round, but it's a guaranteed free roll. And these both synergize really well with the slow roll playstyle of this build. The So Small augment is also very strong, as it gives all Yordles a 35% dodge chance, increasing their survivability. Other augments available for survivability are Celestial Blessing and Thrill of the Hunt. Celestial Blessing lets units heal a percentage of their damage done and converts excess healing done to a shield based on the level of the augment. Thrill of the Hunt does something similar, except it does health back on unit kills, so this is also based on level. Higher the level of the augment, more health back. Both of these are great options for survivability and can help in your decision to go Infinity Edge and Heimerdinger instead of Hextech Gunblade. The Socialite Soul is also a helpful augment if the spotlight is in the backline, otherwise not really super useful because you want Heimerdinger to be in and then later Vagar, but this will grant him 20% extra damage. Furthermore, if you have 2 Socialite, Heim will gain an additional 5 mana per second, on top of the 2 mana per second he's already getting from the Scholar 2 tree. Then these will both contribute to more ults, meaning more damage. That's everything you need to know to win with Yordles. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. I'll be posting a new TFT video every week, so get subscribed and hit the bell if you don't want to miss it. Let me know what build I should do a guide on next down in the comments, and thank you for watching.